It's session 4 of the Beyond Burnout program. Welcome back. You know, as our homes have morphed into our offices during the pandemic, I wonder if you've actually gone back to work or if you're still working in a hybrid situation. But the stats is that we are working an extra 48.5 minutes a day if you are working from home. And the divide between our professional and personal lives is drawn so thin that 77% of employees say that establishing boundaries between personal and work life is becoming so difficult and the lines are blurry. And there's a particular character I want to introduce you today. His name is Nayo, and he takes a lot of pride in being one of the best jugglers in the business. And when someone throws in a ball, he says, I'll do it. He never says no. He just keeps adding balls to his juggling repertoire. And if he doesn't have the time to get something done, he'll work in the evening or on the weekends, and he's always willing to do it. Even late, even while he's eating dinner, he's working. His days begin really early in the morning and end really late at night because he's the yes guy, he's Nayo. And when he works late, he tries not to complain to the rest of his colleagues. He doesn't want to upset them, but occasionally he'll hint at it because he'll post something on social media about how burnt out he's getting. And Nayo was brought up to be brave, to push on through, to suck it up, to be strong. And he was never taught that his needs are just as important as everybody else's. And Nayo's bosses, his managers, they think that he's one of the best employees at the company, and they celebrate his insane juggling skills, and they applaud his willingness to take on new projects, and they tell other employees that they should follow Nayo's example. When people ask Nayo, how are you? He says, I am busy. How are you? And they all say the same thing. I'm busy. Oh, that's good. We're also very, very busy. And they celebrate being busy. They were taught by their parents that any time they had to relax was not being productive. Nayo's parents used to say, don't just sit there, Nayo, do something. And in the mental health revolution, we're saying, don't just do something, sit there. Because when Nayo was at school, he was rushing from one classroom to another, from one extra lesson to one sports activity, and there just never seemed to be enough time. He was just doing more and more and more. So in the workplace, what Nayo's boss and colleagues don't realize is that Nayo is putting himself, his team, and his entire company at risk because Nayo is on the brink of burnout. And medical professionals say that burnout is a psychological state of physical and emotional exhaustion, and it's thought to be induced by work-related stress. Just think about it. A refreshed, motivated employee can get so much work done in just a few hours than a tired, overworked employee can in an entire day. And there are many theories as to what causes burnout, but some of the more common job-related ones include a lack of social support at work, especially if we're working remotely. Extremes of activity, burning the candle at both ends, you know what that's like? Yes. Unclear or undefined job expectations, work-life imbalance, I guess. So there are your main ones. And a Gallup survey found that 76% of employees had experienced some form of burnout. 76. These employees are 63% more likely to take a sick day than a non-affected worker, 23% more likely to land up in the emergency room at the hospital, and 2.6 times more likely to look for another job. Let's go back to our friend Nayo. He's teetering. He's teetering on the edge of burnout for a while, and if he continues grinding himself down, he won't just end up being non-productive, he'll become anti-productive. He'll be making mistakes like that the rest of his team, like his colleague Jeremy, might spend more time fixing. And to make matters worse, Nayo is juggling his tasks from home as well, where it's harder for his colleagues to gauge his stress levels. They just don't know. They can't see. Well, I was Nayo. And I think I was even born anxious. And I started my school career feeling completely anxiety and overwhelmed by the constant to-do list. My dad died of suicide, and from there, I had many panic attacks a day, and I had to do things differently. But I tried to be the yes person, and I relate to Neo's story. A few years ago, I was the managing director of an advertising company, and I found out that my business partner was cheating. It put me into the emergency room. I thought I was dying of a heart attack. I was suffering from extreme burnout. I was booked off work and I was admitted into hospital. And I have colleagues that also I see day to day, just colleagues that are breaking down, saying they just can't anymore. They have to be booked off work for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. And you can imagine how hard it is to come back to work after being booked off for such a long time. So Neo has to prioritize, and you can't say everything's a priority. Two things can be important, but they can't both be as important as each other. When people say they have multiple priorities, what they're really saying is they have a hard time prioritizing. These people are unwilling to make difficult, potentially uncomfortable decisions about what should take precedence over everything else. So it's a skill, this prioritizing. And the first real step is catching and reversing burnout before it does the damage. Learning to take the time to figure out which the balls are that I should be juggling, which are important, and which I can exclude for the time being, and I can drop those. We can't juggle everything at the same time. They're going to fall. And what are we juggling every day? Is this task really important that I'm doing? That's a good question to ask. Maybe the situation has changed with the task that I am busy with. And often we commit to tasks and projects that are, they're important at the time, but become less important as the situations evolve. Another question we could ask is, am I really the only person who can do this? Many top performers think that doing something by themselves is easier than delegating or asking for help. And this is a leading cause of burnout. No, I will do it because I know it will be done to perfection. Well, you're going to burn yourself out. Trust your colleagues. Trust them. Give them the chance to surprise you. And keep on asking the question, is this the most important thing right now? Or am I using it to avoid doing something else? Deep down, you know when you're doing this. And if this is the only thing I completed today, would I be satisfied with my day's work? I guess there's another question. Part of avoiding burnout is to focus on work that will give us a good sense of, accomplishment. And as Neo begins to wake up to how to take care of himself better, he starts to juggle less balls, and space starts to clear for him, and he can start to focus better because his quality of mind has improved. So what can we do? Well, apparently we check our emails 90 times a day, on average. And in terms of productivity, they say we should be checking our emails 4 times a day. Now, I know what you're saying, Mark, I'll never check my emails 4 times a day. Okay, fine. But can we find a middle road between 4 and 90? Do you know how many times we check our phone a day? Our smartphones, we check on average 110 times a day, and that number is increasing. Do we really need to be checking our phones that much? Maybe what we could also do is just have no interruption zones or block off periods in our day. Please do not interrupt or do not disturb, thereby giving us a chance to fully prioritize and understand what's important and then tackle those important tasks without any interruption. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Let's explore how to go beyond burnout. So how do we help our dear friend Neo, our journey with Neo? Well, to go beyond burnout, we need to allow our mind to relax, to go for a walk, to do some deep breaths, to look up at the sky and move our brain from the beta brainwave state into the alpha brainwave state, where we are relaxed and more imaginative. So think about, where do you come up with solutions? Where are you? Are you crunching away at your desk or in a meeting? Where are you when you have your best ideas? Think about it. Push pause. Come back when you've got the answers. Because when Neo decided to step away from work and his work environment, he unlocked his mind's ability to solve complex problems. And in the end, this did more for his career, his team, and his company, rather than a few extra hours of juggling more balls. So this is the call. Every now and then, go away, do a bit of relaxation, because when you come back to your work, your judgment will be surer, because to remain constantly at work and stressed will erode your ability to see clearly and have clarity. And this is what Leonardo da Vinci was talking about in the 1400s. He was saying, get away for a while, and then your vision will be surer and purer. Here is another quote. When I am completely myself, entirely all alone, or during the night when I cannot sleep, it is on such occasions that my ideas flow best and most abundantly. Whence and how these come, I know not, nor can I force them. Nor do I hear in my imagination the parts successfully, but I hear them all at the same time, all together. And that is by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart in the 1700s, telling us about the power of creativity. Isaac Newton was just chilling under a tree when an apple fell on his head, and he developed the law of gravity, the universal gravitation law. And he was also in lockdown at that time. So this is how we can unlock our best selves, rather than push all the time, which doesn't do much for our creativity, our innovation, our ability to think, and of course, how we burn ourselves out. So our dear friend Neo is feeling a lot better and coming out of burnout. Let's jump into a practice session 4 of how to go beyond burnout. Join us there.